Folks, in my 20 years in the league, I've never seen anything like this. What's happening right now with the Cleveland Browns, of all teams, is beyond anything most of us could have imagined. I'm talking about a seismic shift, a move so massive, so audacious, it could completely reshape the entire landscape of the NFL's linebacker corps. And it's happening right under our noses, right now, in the dead of winter. And I guarantee there's a secret hidden in the shadows of this story, something even the boldest insiders aren't willing to admit yet. But I'm here to tell you, what's unfolding is no coincidence. It's a calculated chess move, a masterstroke, and if it comes to pass, it will change everything we thought we knew about the Browns, rebuild their ambitions and their future dominance. So listen carefully. This is a story you don't want to miss. It's a perfect storm of logistics, player futures, and coaching agendas. And those who understand the stakes are already whispering about it behind closed doors. Trust me, what I'm about to reveal could be the most explosive NFL rumor of 2026, and it's only just beginning. If you're truly inside, if you're sharp, if you're ready to see the game from a different angle, then buckle up. Because what I'm about to lay out might just be the tip of the iceberg, and I promise, an even bigger secret lurks beneath the surface. Now, before we get into the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on notifications because, folks, the truth is always stranger and more shocking than fiction. Those who are in the know are already preparing for what's coming. Are you? Trust me, this isn't just another off-season rumor. This is the beginning of a new era. Let's start by diving deep into the team that's involved, because no one's talking about the Browns' side of this equation quite yet, and it's no accident. Cleveland, as of January 22, 2026, is locked in a state of transition. Their coaching staff is in chaos, their roster is fractured, but behind the scenes, a quiet revolution is brewing, and a key piece is about to fall into place. And that piece: Ernest Jones, IV. Yes, the superstar linebacker from Seattle. Now you've probably heard rumors swirling around Jones. Some say he's destined for the Dolphins, others whisper about the Jets or even the 49ers. But I've been connected to some of the most discreet sources in league circles, and I can tell you with certainty, Cleveland is and has been all in on Ernest Jones, IV. And I'll tell you why. Because the Browns are about to rewrite their defensive DNA, and Jones is at the epicenter of this storm. Think about it. What better way to immediately upgrade an aging, inconsistent defense than to bring in a player who, just last season, earned second-team All-Pro honors? Why Cleveland? Because their defensive game plan has been a work in progress. Their core issues: missed tackles, poor pursuit angles, inability to consistently stop the run, and let's not even talk about their coverage struggles. Against the run, they rank near the bottom of the league. Their tackling efficiency, according to PFF stats, is well below league average. And in pass coverage, they're either exploited on quick routes or left flat-footed on deep plays. That's why they're desperate for a game-changing linebacker, someone who not only can clean up in tackles, but also provide leadership, versatility, and raw physicality. And here's the key. Analytics show that the Browns' linebackers as a unit have an average tackling grade of around 64, with missed tackles skyrocketing in critical moments. Their pursuit angles are inconsistent, often leading to big gains for opponents. According to next-gen stats, they rank in the bottom 10 of league-wide pursuit efficiency among starting ILBs. The need for a true difference-maker behind that front line is urgent. Cleveland's defense historically has been prideful, but in 2025 they were mediocre at best, perennially chasing the ball carrier, often behind the play. And this is where Ernest Jones, IV, steps in, not just as a player, but as the blueprint of what the Browns need. His film tells the story of a linebacker who plays with relentless pursuit, who reads offenses faster than most, and who hits harder than a freight train. Watch his tape from last season, how he flows sideline to sideline with elite pursuit angles. Jones' tackling technique is textbook. He wraps up like a surgeon, rarely missing. His hit power, off the charts. He's the kind of player who, when he arrives, leaves a message. And his instincts, top tier, often diagnosing plays before the snap. Now I know what you're thinking, but what about his weaknesses? Sure, he struggles a bit in coverage, particularly in man-to-man situations where his agility is quite elite. But that's not what Cleveland needs right now. They need a thumper, a guy who can erase the run, anchor the middle, and set the tone. And with Jones's elite play recognition, pursuit, and tackling, he's the perfect fit for their scheme, especially under Jim Schwartz, who loves aggressive, physical, high-effort linebackers. But here's what makes this story even more compelling: the statistics. Jones recorded 126 tackles in just 13 games last season, an average of nearly 9.7 tackles per game. And that's despite missing 3 games due to injury. He also snagged 5 interceptions, an indicator of his ball skills and awareness, something Cleveland desperately needs on the back end. These aren't just numbers. They are the signals of a player who can immediately elevate a defense that's been begging for change. And don't forget, his leadership. As a captain in Seattle, Jones has become the heartbeat of that defense. His locker room presence, his work ethic, those things cannot be measured, but they are felt. Cleveland's locker room could desperately use that veteran, that tone setter, especially after a tough 2025 campaign. Imagine him pairing with Myles Garrett. The chaos they could cause, blitzing from different angles, disrupting quarterbacks, and setting a physical tone from the first whistle. So how does the trade actually happen? That's where it gets even juicier. Cleveland's front office is renowned for being aggressive in their offseason moves. Think back to their blockbuster trades for Watson and the big free agent signings. Now, consider this. Seattle is in a rebuild, dealing with a roster that's both talented and expensive. Jones, entering the final year of his deal, is an ideal trade chip, especially if the Browns can swing a package that includes draft capital and some mid-tier players. Sources indicate that a deal could be structured around a 2026 second-round pick, plus a conditional future pick, perhaps a third or fourth, depending on performance benchmarks. The Seahawks, eager to make moves that align with their long-term rebuild, might view this as an opportunity to capitalize on Jones's stock, especially with his value rising after a Pro Bowl-caliber season. Meanwhile, Cleveland gets a proven, disruptive force at a critical position to accelerate their rebuild, a win-now move for a team desperate to show progress after consecutive seasons out of the playoffs. Salary cap, not a problem. Jones's current deal is within reach, roughly $12 million per year, a manageable figure for a team like Cleveland that's been looking to shed some of its heavy contracts. They could even include a small incentive to help Seattle offset some of that salary, which would make the trade more palatable for the Seahawks, especially if they're looking to cut costs for their rebuild. Now, here's the really interesting part. What does this mean for the league, for Cleveland? Because if this trade happens, it sends shockwaves through the NFL. It shows that Cleveland is serious about reclaiming their defensive identity. It signals that they're willing to invest in a cornerstone linebacker who can change the game's dynamic. And it's a message to the rest of the league. Cleveland isn't just rebuilding, they're reloading and they want to dominate. And for Seattle, well, they're quietly assembling a team that could be a dark horse in 2026, an under-the-radar contender that's building around a core of young talent and savvy veterans. Moving Jones might be tough, but it's a move driven by strategic foresight, fueling their future with draft picks and cap flexibility. The gamble. They get something back that allows them to accelerate their rebuild, plus, they finally clear the way for their younger linebackers to develop behind a more flexible, versatile core. But the big question, what's the impact on the Browns' defense? Instant upgrade or a gamble? Personally, I see this as a game changer. Jones's impact goes beyond just tackling stats. It's about the attitude, the ferocity, the leadership. Pair him with a new coaching staff that emphasizes aggression and discipline, and suddenly that unit becomes frighteningly disruptive. Think about it. Elite pursuit, versatile blitzing, relentless run-stopping. Cleveland's defense would become a nightmare for opponents. And let me tell you, this isn't just wishful thinking. The analytics, the film, the player intel, all point to Jones being exactly the kind of player Cleveland needs, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. With the coaching carousel still spinning, the Browns are quietly plotting their next move, and Jones is at the center of it. Now, let's analyze the scheme fit. Under Schwartz, Cleveland runs a hybrid 4-3 defense, emphasizing gap control and aggressive linebacker play. Jones's skill set, his pursuit, tackling instincts, aligns seamlessly with this philosophy. His ability to fill gaps and shed blocks quickly makes him invaluable in stopping the run, especially against AFC North rivals who love physical, smash-mouth football. Plus, his coverage weaknesses can be masked with smart scheme adjustments. Schwartz's defense can utilize hybrid coverages and reduce his man-to-man responsibilities. Compared to the players Cleveland currently has, a mishmash of aging veterans and inconsistent performers, Jones stands out as a cornerstone. His potential is higher than most, and his ceiling is still rising. For Cleveland, this isn't just a rental, it's a long-term statement. They're building a defense that can compete with the best in the league, and Jones is the missing piece. And what about the worst-case scenario? If the trade falls through, it's not like Cleveland's current situation is irredeemable. They have draft capital, cap space, and young talent. But it's clear, they're operating with a sense of urgency. They know that waiting around for another draft class or free agent splash might not be enough. They want a culture reset, and acquiring a player like Ernest Jones, IV, would be a bold, unmistakable move. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the timeline. Based on league chatter, this deal could be announced within the next 2 weeks, right in the middle of the NFL's quiet period, a perfect window for a blockbuster. Expect insiders to start leaking details soon, setting off a chain reaction across league circles. And once it happens, watch the ripple effect. Other teams will take notice, and the entire AFC North will be watching Cleveland's big move. So here's my final verdict. This isn't just a rumor, it's a calculated, high-stakes play. Cleveland is positioning itself not just to compete, but to dominate. If they pull this off, if they can land Ernest Jones, IV, they're not just upgrading a linebacker, they're rewriting their entire future. And the league, it will never be the same. Stay locked in because I guarantee what's coming next will blow your mind. This story is far from over. And I promise, you'll want to be the first to know when it totally erupts. The NFL's landscape is shifting, and Cleveland is about to be at the epicenter of it all. Be ready, because this is just the beginning.